Hello everybody, and God, I don't know how to intro videos where I'm just gonna talk constantly about a topic for however long, but I am here in this video today because I feel like talking about a certain topic, that topic being Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite roster speculation and stuff. I was recently on a podcast talking about it. I will link that podcast here and in the description. But I want to talk about it more and more in depth because I like to blather, and I would have blathered on that podcast if I had been given untethered time to just blather and blather and blather as I'm apt to do. But I'm also doing it because there really has not been any sort of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite news since Morgan and Captain America were announced. The only thing I've heard recently about it would be I heard there's a toy line coming. That's pretty exciting. Well, it's not those like horrendous Lego-looking figures that came with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I guess there have been some more quote leaks. I don't put much validity into leaks, and this one talked about like Wolverine and Cyclops being in the game as DLC, as well as like a certain Phoenix Wright character that I can't remember the name of right now. And that Cyclops was gonna get a Godot skin. I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. I never played Phoenix Wright, sorry. Good series, never played it. Anyway, I just wanted to talk more about the topic, so I'm taking the time to. I'm not sure what game or whatever I'm gonna slap into this footage, but it'll probably just be, fighting game related, as well as, videos and games related to the topic at hand. So I have character speculation divided into 4 tiers. I have the obvious tier, I have the likely tier, I have the maybe tier, and then I have the personal request tier. Some of which I've covered in that last podcast I was on, but I mean, hey, why not talk about it more? You know what I mean? I don't know how long I'll spend on each character since I'm not a master class of every... I don't have master knowledge of every Marvel character and every Capcom character in existence. But hey, let's get started, shall we? I think the obvious tier for Marvel side, you have the rest of the Avengers that are announced in it. You have Hulk, you got Thor, you got Hawkeye, and you got Black Widow. I also think Spider-Man will be an obvious character to be in the game. Not only because he's got that movie coming, but I mean, you could also monetize Spider-Man really well. You know how many Spider-Mans there are? There's so many. You could sell them all as skins. You can have Peter Parker, you can have Spider-Gwen, you could have Miles Morales, you could have Spider-Man 2099, you could have Man-Spider. Why not, I think those are pretty obvious picks as well. Hulk would also be a decently monetizable guy. You could get that, one... Is that newer one they have? That Amadeus Cho guy? He's a Hulk, right? He's a Hulk with a weird, swooshy hairdo. It's funny to me. I don't know why. And, I know, that's pretty obvious. The obvious side for the Capcom tier would be Chun-Li. Chun-Li has actually been in every Versus game since, I think it was X-Men vs. Street Fighter was the first one. She's been in every one since, much like Ryu. You also have Akuma, who's obviously, a really popular character amongst the community. I don't particularly care for Akuma, as long as it's not this weird, Street Fighter V neckbeard Akuma. Just give us the classic costume, Capcom. Like seriously, no one wants that weird lion mane shit that you got going on with him. Felicia, I think, will also be the obvious one, another obvious Darkstalkers character. I mean, I think Felicia, out of all the Darkstalkers, is probably the second most popular, and she always, sneaks into these games, even though she's only been in 2 so far. And, I mean, a basically nude cat lady, why wouldn't you want that in your games, Or maybe it can't be on ESPN, and that's why. Maybe she won't be in the game because of that. I think another obvious one for Capcom would be, good old Dante, Devil May Cry Dante. He was in that Shin Megami Tensei game. They should advertise this game like that. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, featuring Dante from Devil May Cry. Put him in the game as an apology for DMC. My god, I probably shouldn't laugh at DMC, but god, that game was just so stupid and so bad. What trite garbage was that, There's 100 videos on that topic. I'll try not to get too off topic, but yeah. Old Dante, give him the white hair, give him the cool laid-back attitude, give him some pizza, you know how Dante rolls. And I think the last obvious one for Capcom would be Leon Scott Kennedy from Resident Evil. I believe that, what is it, that HD remake or an entire remake of Resident Evil 2 is still coming, so it makes sense to put him in this game. He could be the Resident Evil gunman character. That would bring into question a lot of other characters, though, but I mean, Leon. Plus, Leon's cool. He'd have his bulldog from Resident Evil 6, hopefully, and, his roundhouse kick, and all the cool shit that he had in, the various Resident Evils he's been in. We'll move on to the likely tier. These are the characters that I think have like 70-80% chance of being in the game, based on obvious speculation that I will talk about soon. I think very likely Loki is going to end up in this game. Loki's gotten really popular because of, I think basically just because of Tom Hiddleston's performance as Loki and, you know, Thor and the Avengers and all that shit. Very popular as a result, and I think he will end up in the game because of it. Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I think out of all of the, like, the Netflix Marvel series, the Daredevil, JJ, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, which is still coming. I'm actually pretty hyped for Iron Fist. I think Luke Cage and Iron Fist have the most chance of getting in out of all of those. Daredevil as well. I should throw Daredevil onto that thing. I don't think JJ will make it, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what she would bring to the table versus a lot of other people, but I mean, Luke Cage, obviously, pretty great character. Iron Fist was great in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I don't know how he got into that game, admittedly, but he did. Because, I mean, I don't remember any media at that time. Like, Rocket, eventually there was Guardians of the Galaxy, but anyway. Yeah, I think those three will make it. For Guardians of the Galaxy, I think they will pair Rocket and Groot as a unit, because they were trying to cram Groot into everything. Did you see that poster for fucking Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that just had baby Groot in the corner for, like, no reason? Would have been a perfect movie poster if they just didn't put baby Groot in the corner, just got rid of it. And some people did, and it looked much, much, much fucking better. I think Black Panther will make it. Black Panther movie coming. Black Panther is a pretty cool character. He could also serve, well, I don't know of, like, the status of DLC. I've heard that all the X-Men characters are going to come as DLC for this game. I don't know about the validity of that, because that just comes from, you know, random leaks online. So you can't really, like, prove the validity. I'll put references and sources for these leaks, quotation mark, that I found, but I don't put much stock into them. Black Panther could be a decent replacement for Wolverine. I imagine he could play very similar to him, but I mean, we'll have to see. Capcom's good at fucking everything up, so it might be terrible. Doctor Strange, obviously, he made it into Ultimate. I think he'll be in this one, because the Doctor Strange movie did well, like every Marvel movie. Plus, you know, who's the guy that played him? I don't even remember his name. Engelbert Humperdinck. Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man will be a weird choice, but I mean, I think they're going to bring in, like, all of the movie characters that they have brewing right now with Capcom. I mean, Capcom. With fucking Marvel. So you're going to see a lot of people in those movies. And maybe future stuff. And Dormammu. Dormammu, A+. He's, spoiler, he's at the end of Doctor Strange. Very briefly, I believe. I'm not sure. Can't really remember. I'm drunk. Anyway. Thanos, I think, would be another really likely character, since, you know, we have the Infinity Wars coming up. Plus, he was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, so, you know, Thanos will probably show up again. Could be a good counter to Rocket and Groot as well. Going on over to the Capcom side, I think Juri will make it into this game. Juri Han first showed up in Street Fighter 4. Please give her her Street Fighter 4 outfit, Capcom. I don't want this shitty bodysuit that she has in 5. Please give her colors on her projectiles, too. It's so stupid that her projectiles are black and not purple like they used to be. God. I gotta be real careful not to turn this into a shit on Street Fighter 5 cast. That's a whole different video in and of itself. But yeah, Juri. I think originally Capcom was gonna try to push Crimson Viper as the new, like, cool girl character, but, like, because she was in Ultimate Marvel, and I don't really know why. I was like, why is Viper in this fucking game? Or I think she was in Vanilla, actually. I can't really remember, though. And then Juri came in Super Street Fighter 4, and everyone was like, oh, Juri's awesome. So, you know, Juri ended up becoming the new chick that's going to be pushed, and I don't mind that. Juri's great. She's, like, one of the two good characters to come from Street Fighter 4, along with El Fuerte. I think Rashid will also be in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I think this because Rashid is a really cool character. I actually like his design. I like his voice actor. His voice actor is the guy that did Space Dandy, if you aren't aware. And he was also the big frickin' hero in the Street Fighter V story, so I feel like they want to push him as the new hero. And if they're going to include a Street Fighter V character, because they should, because, you know, maybe you can try to push sales for your piece of shit fighting game with this fighting game that will hopefully not be a piece of shit. It's probably going to be him, or it'll be Laura. If Laura is in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I quit. Permanently. I hate Laura so much. Anyway, next up for the likely tier, I think, much like in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they're gonna bring in, well, he was brought in Ultimate, but I think they'll bring in Virgil again, just as, you know, the antithesis of Dante. And I think they'll bring in another DMC character, too. But instead of Trish this time, I believe they'll do Lady instead. I don't know much about Devil May Cry, so if someone's an expert, please tell me, would they do Trish again or would they do Lady instead? Because I've seen Lady in, like, shit, what are those games called? Like, the fucking Project X Zone games. She's shown up twice now, I believe. I'm not against Lady. I'd be for her in this game. I think they'll put Frank in again. I hope they get TJ Rotolo back to be Frank again, because I can't really deal with Frank if he's not voiced by him. That is Frank's voice to me. Not this fucking chud that's in Dead Rising 4, which is a piece of shit too. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like Frank if it doesn't have TJ Rotolo's voice, but I think TJ is a part of that Writers Guild strike. Am I retarded? That VA strike. I don't know if that's still going on or not, though. I should double check that before I talk any more about it, but yeah, Frank will probably make it in. Unless they, like, swerve us and put in Chuck instead. But I think Frank is the most popular character from Dead Rising, no questions. Hagar, I sincerely hope that Mike Hagar will be coming back. I think he has a really big shot at making it into this game. Because I think what Capcom is going to do from now on with these versus games versus Street Fighter is Geef is going to be the Street Fighter character that's in the Street Fighter games, and Hagar is going to be the character that's in versus games. That's just my theory, though. I mean, some people are theorizing that Hagar is going to be in Season 2 of Street Fighter V, but I don't know. I don't think about it, personally. God. I hope Hagar is in this game. Maybe they'll swerve us and it'll be Alex instead. Spencer, I think, has a pretty likely chance, because Combo Fiend is working on this game. That's like a character he's best known for. Plus, Spencer is pretty hype with the shouting of Bionic Arm. Classic character now. And then last two, kind of pair them together. Not as the same unit, though, but I think Wesker will make it, because I don't really know what kind of villains Resident Evil could put forth. Like, maybe they'll put in Jack Baker, you know? His level 3 will just be him punching you in the face and shouting, "Welcome to the family, son." But I think Wesker has always been, you know, Capcom's best villain for Resident Evil. There's some side characters, too, but, I mean, what are the odds that Sadler's going to be in this game, you know? That's not going to happen. And I think Jill will also make it in, since Jill snuck into Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as a DLC character, one of two. But unfortunately, it was that, like, shitty bodysuit Jill from Resident Evil 5. I think it kind of sucks. I would like to see her back to her old self, you know, like, we might have to sacrifice Frank for it, since they kind of had a similar niche, but Jill in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I miss that. I miss that Jill. I miss her summoning zombies and crows and Cerberuses and stuff. I miss her level 3 super where she would summon the Tyrant and the Tyrant would beat the fuck out of you. Great stuff. I miss that Jill a lot, and I was really disappointed we got, you know, bodysuit Jill. Hopefully, we get that Jill back. But I mean, it's probably going to be bodysuit again, and then we'll just get the Resident Evil 3 attire as a DLC outfit. Boring. Capcom. Oh, also likely tier for Capcom 0. I mean, Mega Man's already in this game, and I forgot to mention that the villain, I'm pretty sure, is confirmed as Ultron and Sigma, like, merged together. I think 0 would be another good character to add in the game, even though he is not particularly fun to fight against in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. A little low tier, little high tier prick. I hate fighting that guy. Alright, I'm gonna move down. I'm gonna move down the list here. We're gonna go into the maybe tier. Characters I have extraneous reasoning to put in this game, but I have ideas for, so you know, we'll cover it as we go, as usual. I think Squirrel Girl will make it into this game. She's a meme character, much like Deadpool, and I don't think they're gonna have Deadpool in this game because he's an X-Man. I believe Deadpool's class is an X-Men at least. One of many. But yeah, she would be their new meme tier character. If you don't know much about Squirrel Girl, she just wins fights. It's never explained why, but that's just what she does. She just wins. She'll beat Dr. Doom. She'll beat other people. I think Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, will make it into this game. She's one of the very few newer age Marvel characters that people actually like and has, like, decent stories and shit, so I think she might make it into the game. It would also, you know, fill the void where Super Skrull would be with the stretchy arms, and I don't know if the Fantastic Four will make it in this game as DLC at all. If they do, I really hope it's just the Thing, because I need to shout it's clobbering time. Or, you know, just just make Thing, you know, like a Hulk skin or something. Like, they could do that, maybe, but I don't know. I think about this a lot, because I don't have anything to do in my life. I'm not sure about these next two, but Vision and Scarlet Witch, I mean, they're in the Marvel movies. I'm not sure if they could make it into this game or what they would be able to do in the game, but I think they're likely, but not that likely, you know? They would put in someone else instead of them. Star-Lord, I think, is pretty likely amongst Guardians of the Galaxy character. I mean, I don't really know who else you would put in aside, you know, obviously, the Rocket and Groot, who are the most popular characters, I think. But it would be pretty great, especially if you get Chris Pratt to actually voice him. I think Chris Pratt would voice Star-Lord for this video game if you gave him the opportunity. He seems like a cool guy. And then I think Ghost Rider has a bit of a chance to make it in. I assume it would be Johnny Blaze, so maybe they'll try to pull like Robbie Reyes instead, but I mean, come on. Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider. Nicolas Cage is Ghost Rider. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Alright, last one, I'm going in line with, much like TVC. This game looks a lot like Tatsunoko versus Capcom to me, so I think they might slip in a few big characters, and I think for the Marvel side, they'll put in Fin Fang Foom as their, like, big character. You don't know who Fin Fang Foom is? He's a big Maklon, which is just a dragon. And he's pretty cool. Look him up sometime. Anyway, the Capcom maybe tier. I think Tronbon is pretty... Tronbon slipped into Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I don't really know how that happens. Like, I didn't think she was that popular. She's a decent character. I know someone who loves her very, very much. But she slipped back into Marvel vs. Capcom 3 when it didn't happen here, so maybe she'll slip into this game too. I mean, come on. This would be a bit of a weird one, but I think they might finally do it. I think they would just put in, like, a Monster Hunter. I don't know if there's any, like, dedicated characters in that series. I do not play Monster Hunter. My friends do. I could ask them. But I think they might just, like, make, you know, like a generic Monster Hunter character and do whatever Monster Hunters do. Put traps down, throw flash grenades and shit. That'd be pretty cool. Strider, you know, got it. Strider was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and they had that newer Strider game, and he got into Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as well. So I think he's got a small chance of showing back up. I don't know, admittedly, but I mean, Capcom's all about surprising people. Whether those surprises are good things, that's really up to you to decide. Alright, this is a bit of an extraneous one, but bear with me, because it kind of makes sense in my mind. Tessa, or Tabasa, as she's known in Japan. She is a wizard. She's from a game called Red Earth, which has never seen the light of day outside of arcades, and I doubt many people... Well, there's a vague chance people might know of them, because there was this little fighting game on the PS2 called Capcom Fighting Remix, or Capcom Fighting Jam, I think it was called. And that had 4 Red Earth characters in it. It had Leo, Kenji, Hauser, and Hydron. And Tessa was also in a Puzzle Fighter, I think it was called. I can't remember half the games that I've played in my life. But I think she'd be a decent pick from Capcom side, because she was a wizard, and she could be like the opposite of Doctor Strange, and they can like work together in story mode or some bullshit. I don't know what the story's gonna be, but I'm excited, kind of. You know me, I love Marvel, baby. Captain Commando, I think it's about time we get the boy back. Captain Corridor, Captain Fire, summon ninjas and shit. I don't know much about Captain Commando, but he was a cool character in 2. Let's bring him back, Capcom, shall we? Chris Redfield, I would like to see back, but as I think about characters to put in the game, I don't know how many, like, gunmen they're gonna put in the games, because Chris was a gunman in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. He shot guns, and he punched boulders, and he taught me how to count. But I don't know if you could do him and Leon as 2 separate characters. I feel like they would fill the same niche, but maybe I'm wrong on that. As well as other characters I would just like to see, but I mean, I'll get to my requests later. We're almost there, I think. And for another big size character, but on this time, Capcom side, they could do a Rathalos from Monster Hunter. I believe the Rathalos is one of the more popular monsters to hunt. I really wish I knew anything about Monster Hunter, so I didn't sound like a complete fucking idiot talking about it, but maybe I'll ask my friends sometime. Who knows? Who knows? You don't have friends. That's what the internet says. We're now on to the tier that we all would like, the personal request tier. You know, people who we want to see, but will most likely not in. Start on the Marvel side of things. I would very much like to see the Shocker from Spider-Man. I love that dude. Love that dude in his gauntlets. I don't know why I love a Shocker so much. He's like a goober. It's like, he'd be like the Dan Hibiki of the Marvel side, and it would be great to have him in the game. And I think he's going to be in that new Spider-Man movie. I don't know what villain they're going to bring for Spider-Man in this game. I assume they're going to bring a villain. They didn't have one for Marvel 3. They were going to have Doc Ock, but like, development time constraints or whatever. I don't know what happened there, but it was unfortunate. But yeah, I'd like to see the Shocker. On that note as well, Venom. Bring Venom back. I think if they were going to bring a Spider-Man villain back, it would be Venom. Venom is great. His sprite in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is awesome. Absolutely gorgeous. Show some examples. I would also like to see Punisher. Punisher would be cool, but it goes back to the whole gunman thing that I was talking about, where you can't just keep putting gunmen in the game. They could probably make them all function differently, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Capcom, don't disappoint me. Pull out some surprises. Man-Thing, you know, Injustice is gonna have Swamp Thing, so, you know, let's bring in Man-Thing. Plus, Man-Thing's pretty cool, I mean, you know. I'll throw in a quick one for my friend Cade, my bestie. Brought up a character called Werewolf, who's just a guy that turns into a werewolf. That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not against them bringing in niche weird characters like that. I'm sure there's tons more. We'll move on to the Capcom side now. Regina from Dino Crisis. It's been a long time since we've had a Dino Crisis game. You know, 3 kind of murdered the franchise in its tracks. God, 3 was such a weird game. Dino Crisis 3 was, like, in space, and they weren't even dinosaurs. They were, like, aliens that just, like, took their shape. It's fucking weird. But yeah, bring her back. And Regina wasn't even in that game, either. Bring back the red-haired mistress, man. Need more redheads in our games, Capcom. Stop making blonde hair, blue-eyed characters. Give the redheads some love for once. Come on. John Talbane would be another preferred character from the Darkstalker series that I would like to see personally, because he's a rad-ass werewolf that uses nunchucks and summons fire. Why wouldn't you want that in your game? Guy's cool as hell. Yeah, plus, I mean, what other Darkstalker character are you even going to use? I mean, it would if anyone, it would probably be Dimitri or, like, Jeddah or something. Maybe Sasquatch. Who knows? Darkstalkers are such a weird franchise. Hasn't had a game in many years, but, you know, their characters keep showing up in these. Make it John Talbane, Capcom, that's all I'm saying. Hunk would be a really cool addition to the cast, especially if he has his neckbreaker as like a super or something. That would be really bad as fuck. Hunk was a lot of fun to play in the Mercenaries in Resident Evil 4. I hope he ends up showing up in future Resident Evil games. He's gotta do something. He could probably be a new villain. I don't know. Hauser, I would like to see. If we're gonna get Regina, we gotta get a dinosaur in there. We get Hauser. Hauser is also from Red Earth, like Tessa. She's like a T-Rex, basically, or a dragon or something. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've played Red Earth. I, like, touched it on an emulator a few years ago, and it was a lot of fun. Maybe I'll do a video about it someday. I have no idea. Hauser would be cool, or maybe it'd be Hydron instead. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? Masamune Date from Sengoku Basara. Just so we could hear him shout English. That's the one character I would keep as a Japanese voice. Put your guns on and all that shit. I'd love to hear that in this game. A very niche one. I would like to see Lieutenant Lin Kurosawa come back. You don't know who that is? A million years ago, Capcom released a side-scrolling beat-em-up titled Alien vs. Predator. And in that game, she was a character alongside Dutch from Predator, if you know who Dutch is. If you don't know who Dutch is, you should really go watch Predator and watch it 100 times. Like me, I watch it 100 times a year. Alongside just Predators, but I'm not sure what the licensing of that would be. I assume Capcom still owns Lin Kurosawa, because that's like their original character. But Predator did show up in like Mortal Kombat, but I mean, I don't know. Ed Boon talked briefly about a crossover, and you know, that'd be a fun game to see. Capcom should really consider at a point doing just like Capcom versus the world. But let other developers do it because they're incompetent for the most part. But yeah, Lin Kurosawa, really cool character from a game I don't think that has ever been re-released. Lastly, but certainly not least, I think for this game, it's finally time we bring him back. We bring back the boy. We bring back Skullomania. It's perfect. He's a vigilante superhero. This is a game full of superheroes. Why wouldn't he be a great pick, you know? I just want him back in general, since it's not going to happen in Street Fighter V Season 2. And I doubt it's going to happen in Street Fighter V Season 3. They joked that 2020 might be the year of Skullomania. Well, if you have any players left in Street Fighter V by that point, Capcom, I'll be surprised. And lastly, not playable characters, but I would like this for... I mean, I assume Capcom's going to do, you know, the monetization system like they did with Street Fighter, and hopefully they learn from Street Fighter V and not make it a giant, you know, piece of shit like that whole game. For the people that are selling DLC for each side, for Marvel's side, I would like to see Phil Coulson be selling, you know, characters and costumes and stuff. Much like how Dan is in quotation marks Street Fighter V. Just, you know, like talking about stuff like, wow, this is Laura's outfit. Wow, this is Chun-Li's outfit. It's so dignified at the beach. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up, Dan. I want you in this game, too. Bring back Dan Hibiki, too. Bring Dan in. I want him to do his Raging Demon again. It will be great. Yeah, Phil Coulson should do that for the Marvel side, and for the Capcom side, The person selling DLC characters should be the merchant from Resident Evil 4. Just because I want him back, and just because I need to know more about that character. Resident Evil 4's merchant is such like a weird enigma. Is he just a dude that sells you weapons? I don't know if he has a parasite inside him or not, but he doesn't attack you. He's just like, hey Leon, I'll sell you some guns. And you know, we can have dollary dues. What am I, drunk? Have pesetas be the currency. But it'll probably be something Marvel related, since I imagine Disney is like standing 2 feet away watching Capcom do this development going, you fucked this up, Capcom, we're gonna bury you. The mouse will bury you, Capcom, if you fuck this game up. Don't fuck it up, Capcom! I'll come for you. I don't know if I'll do an adjunct to this video. I just wanted to talk more about, you know, cool Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite stuff since we've had no news. I don't know if I'll do like an adjunct DLC character one, but anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. This is about 30 minutes. I'll probably chop it down a bit. And I leave it to the people out there, obviously. Who do you want to see in Marvel vs. Capcom? What Marvel characters? What Capcom characters? I know there's definitely some characters I missed, like. Oh man, I can't believe I forgot to... There's definitely some Capcom characters I forgot to mention, like Jean from God Hand would be cool, Asura from Asura's Wrath would be cool. I've never played Power Stone, but people seem to be really into that. Who do you want? That's all I'm asking you, viewer. Who do you want in this game? Tell me about it. Leave it in the comments, or tell me to go fuck myself and that my choices are stupid. I don't mind. Anyway, I'm Maze Manticore. This was a talk about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Thank you so much for watching, or listening. If you have been, I'll see you guys in another video. Goodbye.